All right, everybody. Welcome to our second episode of CalChiro Live. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Dr. Phil. As you could see, I've got another beautiful background behind me here today. I am at the Carmel Valley Ranch getting ready for an event with the Speaker of the Assembly. Looking forward to advocating for the chiropractic profession today. And this is just going to be an outstanding day, an outstanding CalChiro Live. Thanks again for joining us. I wanted to provide some rules of clarification just because it seemed like there was a little bit of confusion last week. We're hosting these YouTube lives every week. Each week, every member of CalChiro is eligible to win the prize. This week's prize is $400. So if you like money, hopefully you're on the stream. You must be present on the stream and be a member, and then reply in the chat that you're here. So if you're not here and you are a member and your name gets called, you do not win the money. If you're not a member, obviously you can't win the money either. So hopefully you're reaching out to your friends and other people or letting them know, hey, get on the stream. We're giving away $400 today. Each week the prize will go up if somebody doesn't claim their prize. Even though they might be a winner, they don't get their prize if they're not here to claim it. So hopefully that provides a little bit of clarification for you guys. I want to just get started here this morning or this afternoon. I want to tell you a little bit about our special guest today. Our special guest is Dr. Peter Kevorkian. Peter's been an instructor for the ICPA. He's been teaching for many, many years. So I think he's going to bring some really great insights. Before we get started in introducing Peter, I wanted to remind you that I hope you can join us for the fall conference. It's coming up in Palm Springs at the Marriott in October. It's just over 2 months away. Early bird registration ends on 9/1, so make sure you get that locked in. The room block is an outstanding price for an incredible property. I hope you can join us there because that's really going to be a fun event. The other details are that, so that's the early bird registration. We also have our PI seminar coming up on September 7th. That's going to be at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in San Francisco. So don't miss out on some of these exciting events that we have. I really encourage you to join us. We got some great keynote speakers like Heidi Havik and Bill Morgan coming to the fall conference. The PI event, if you're just looking to get into PI, or if you have been into PI and just want to learn more, some of the attorneys and some of the chiropractors that are on this panel and part of this group have been doing it for years, and they're going to give you some of the best advice you could get in terms of doing PI work, running a PI practice, all of those kind of things regarding treatment, management, claims, anything that you really want to address regarding that kind of content. I want to go back to our speaker for today. Dr. Peter Kevorkian has been instrumental, really, I think, in doing some of the things recently at the Life West College. I'm going to bring him on board here so you could see him. Hopefully you can hear me, right, Peter?
Oh, yeah. Hear you great, right. Phil.
Cool. Thank you so much for joining us. Peter and his team were so gracious for hosting us at the Life West Wave last week. Incredible event with how many hundred people were there, Peter? Do you know?
Well, I mean, we were probably just shy of 1,000 people. I mean, it was an amazing event.
Wow, it was. Still buzzing from the energy.
Oh my God, it was unbelievable. The speakers, the vendors, everything. It was awesome.
That event, and hopefully our event, will provide that level of spizzerinctum, man, that people just need, sometimes in practice. If you don't know what spizzerinctum is, look it up. It's one of the terms that BJ coined many, many years ago. And you need a little spizz in your life, and you need a little spizz in your practice on a regular basis. So I know Peter's going to give us some information today regarding that, but I wanted to just let him kind of have the floor. Like I said, he's been an instructor for the ICPA. We've been talking about how to connect with parents and just people in general regarding pediatric chiropractic. So, Peter, can you just share with us a little bit about that topic to begin with?
So I get asked all the time, how was it that my practice saw as many kids as we did. I was in practice 42 years, most of that time with my wife, Dr. Patty Giuliano. And we had a family practice. About 30% of our practice was under the age of 15. Lots of babies, lots of adolescents, lots of preteens, teens throughout the years. And as a matter of fact, the other day I was in the health center, and one of the faculty doctors introduced me as a pediatric chiropractor. And I looked at him and I said, I don't know what that means. And he looked at me and said, what do you mean? I said, well, I don't consider myself a pediatric chiropractor. I said, because yes, I see kids. I've seen more kids than most chiropractors do. But I also see moms. I see pregnant moms.
Yeah.
I see dads. I see grandma and grandpa. I see everybody. I said, so it's not like I just took care of kids. And I am not really the person to talk to about how do you get kids in your practice in the traditional model of, oh, I can take care of tongue tie, I can take care of bedwetting, I can take care of neurological defects. And not to say chiropractic doesn't make an effect on those, it certainly does. But I am really good at getting people who come in under care, a mom or dad, usually the mom, educating them, and they realize the benefit of chiropractic care, and the family comes in.
That's awesome.
So, it is very different. We know the chiropractic care can make a powerful effect in terms of people's symptom complexes. But the real thing the chiropractic does is takes care of the spine.
Sure.
And when you have a healthy spine, very often you don't have problems. Very often a adult patient goes to a chiropractor because they have headache or back pain or sciatica or something. And they think the chiropractor is going to fix them. Well, it's our job to educate them and say, it's really not about the symptom. It's about your spine. Take care of the spine. You're going to have a healthier body. When you have a healthier body, very often the problem takes care of itself. So it's not like a direct treatment for that ailment or problem. And the same thing is true regarding kids. I mean, I could tell you story after story after story about kids that had to wear helmets, and they didn't have to wear helmets after they started seeing the chiropractor. People kids who had seizures, kids who had learning disabilities, kids who had bedwetting issues or other asthma or colic. But none of those were treated by what I did. It was because I adjusted their spine. So people ask me, how is it that people would bring their kids in? I mean, just some stats on my practice. But before I even go there, what I've witnessed with many chiropractors is their practice and how they express their practice is one way, but yet how they live their lives is different.
The congruence.
For instance, I know lots of chiropractors who start working with somebody and they see them 3 times a week, then they see them twice a week, then they do once a week as the person's doing better, and they go every other week, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks, every 6 weeks, and then they see somebody on maintenance every 6 to 8 to 12 weeks, but yet they're getting checked every week.
Right.
They're getting their family checked every week, and it's like what we're selling is different than what we believe on our own hearts.
Absolutely.
So where I live is every spine deserves to get checked and adjusted as regularly as possible. Initially, obviously, you need more visits, but long term, I want to see people once a week forever.
Yeah.
That's my goal, and it's to that I'm really going to talk about how to get kids in. A stat on my practice: when I left practice last December of 2023 to come to the college. At that point in time, I had 200 people, over 200 people. I think it was 212 people that were under regular chiropractic care for over 20 years. Meaning that 212 people under regular care had gotten their spine checked and adjusted as needed once a week or more.
That's a real wellness practice right there.
Yeah.
That's the congruency that you're talking about.
Right. So, and now a lot of these people that I'm seeing for 20 years, I saw as a newborn baby. Sure. As a matter of fact, I think the greatest joy of my 42 years in practice is when a brand new mom hands me a brand new baby, just hours or days old, and says to me, I want you to check my baby. And I look at the mom and I said, this is how big you were when you got your first adjustment. And there's nothing in practice that is so rewarding than to have a parent hand you a child when that's how old that parent was when they got their first adjustment. So let's talk about how do you do this?
Because I want to hear a little bit from you about how did you develop that congruency? You know, what helped you create the congruency in your life and in your practice?
So the mechanism of doing it, Phil, is actually, in my opinion, rather simple, and it starts with just telling the truth. If people knew what we knew, they're going to tend to do what we do.
Sure.
So I like my fundamental rules. Students ask me this all the time. It says, what's the secret to success in practices? Always tell the truth and take care of people like family.
Yeah.
And if you do that, you're never going to make a wrong decision in practice.
Sure.
So a lot of that was to tell people the truth. Now we understand that healthcare in our system, in the system of healthcare that we have today, is really not healthcare. It's disease care, right? And what we offer is really a form of healthcare, true healthcare, elevating the ability of the body to function optimally, elevating the ability of the body to adapt to the world better and better. So my job is I want to begin to shift the paradigm where when a person comes in from this disease care idea to an idea of true healthcare, wellness, and vitality care. So that's my big journey. Okay, so that my big picture, my bird's eye view is, for whatever reason somebody walks in through the door, is I want them to understand this idea of wellness and human potential, optimal function. The easiest way to get there is to take it from wherever they are to the understanding of the spine. That the spine and the nervous system is an important part of the body. That the spine and the nervous system controls and regulates everything in the body. So during consultation, and make believe you're my patient, Phil.
Sure.
Okay?
How do you do, Dr.
You would come in, you tell me all the things that are going on with your body.
Sure.
And my first place I'm going to bring you is that, so Phil, I'm going to be honest with you. It's okay if I'm honest with you, isn't it?
Absolutely. Please.
Okay. I said, if you wanted your symptoms to go away, your pain to go away, the quickest way I know to do that is to take drugs. Now, most people look at you like chiropractors don't do drugs. And most of the time, a patient comes back to me and they'll say something like, I don't want to take drugs, or drugs aren't an answer, right?
That's why I came to you, because I'm trying to avoid that.
Right, that's right. And I said, what I've learned, Phil, and you correct me if I'm wrong, is you're not as much here for me to take away your symptom, the pain, the problem that you have, as much as you want to get your body to work better, so that it didn't need to create the symptom or problem that you have. Would that be accurate?
I would say so, correct.
Because I can be honest with you and tell you, I don't. Was that?
I just want to get back to doing all my old stuff that I used to do, like golfing and, horseback riding and skiing and all those kind of things.
100%. 100%. You want your body to be working right so you can do the things that you love to do, right?
Sure.
And so rather than us, me trying to focus on taking your pain away, I want to get your body working optimally. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Now, if I asked you what controls all the function in your body, what would you say?
My brain.
Your brain, and the brain connects to the body over these type of wires. What do we call them?
Those are our nerves.
Nerves. So you want to do anything in your life, your brain's got to send energy to a part of your body, tell you what to do. And that part of the body's got to send information back up to the brain so it knows what's going on. Just like you a moment ago were nodding your head up and down.
Sure.
You're doing that because you're hearing sounds come into your ear, come up to your brain. Your brain says, I understand what he's saying. And to complete a cycle of communication, you nod your head. You don't have to think about it. I said, that's how everything works. I said, let's say for a moment, I jabbed you in the leg. Okay. The way that you would feel that is the nerve signal has to go from that part of the body up to the brain, right? Isn't that right?
Yep.
Okay. Where that nerve signal comes into your spine, it has to pass between two vertebrae, two bones, one above and one below. Let's say for a moment those vertebrae move out of place and put pressure on the nerve. Do you think more information or less information will go up to the brain?
Probably less.
Less information. And if there was enough pressure on that nerve that no information came up to the brain, you'd have no what? In the example I gave you.
No function. It wouldn't
No,
function.
no function. But if I jabbed you in the leg, you'd have no what?
Oh, no feeling.
No feeling. And what do you call that feeling?
Pain.
Pain. There'd be no pain. Now that's exactly opposite what most people think. Most people have this idea bones go out of place and create pain. But yet using logic, you're seeing that it actually might cut down pain. Pain is information. If you cut off information to the brain, it can't respond appropriately. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
What I want to do is open up nerve pathways so your brain can perceive the world all properly and then control and coordinate the body. Because the God honest truth is, I don't know if misalignments are turning on pain, turning off pain. What I do know is those misalignments change how your body functions optimally. It doesn't let your body function as well. So it's okay if I check your spine to make sure all these misalignments or subluxations, we call them, are free and clear of interfering with the nerves. Is that okay?
That sounds great.
Okay. So I'd start my exam. Then while I'm doing the exam, this is what I do. I said, Phil, do you think it's a good idea to correct these subluxations, these misalignments with nerve pressure as soon as they occur or after they've been there for weeks, months, or years?
Oh, probably as soon as they occur.
As soon as they occur. The reason why I bring this up is you're right. The sooner you can correct them, the less likely that you're going to create any kind of aberrant pattern and dysfunction, and the less and less your body's going to try to adapt to that. So by keeping them free and clear from as soon as they occur, the body can function most optimally. That makes sense?
Sure.
Some of the worst causes of these misalignments, these subluxations, as I call them, is the birth process. As a child comes through the birth canal, very often you begin to misalign the top vertebrae of the neck. And just dim that light bulb. Say that again?
So you're pre-framing them a little bit for that conversation later about
exactly right.
Here's how, should I get my kid checked kind of thing. Okay.
Exactly. It happens in day one. Okay. I'm actually talking about it in day one. I said, the reason why I bring this up, Phil, is because when you come to the office, you're going to see lots of kids around here. Right. Now, those kids aren't here because they have bad backs. They're here because their parents understand, as you're beginning to understand, how subluxations, how misalignments with nerve involvement can have their origins from a very, very young age. And just like you said, correct them early, it's easier, it does less damage.
Sure.
So the conversation begins here. It begins in a report of it begins in your consultation. Then when they come on day 2 in the report of findings, I'll say, Phil, I know you came in here for whatever, your headache, the back pain, or whatever it is. I said, which you said started 8 years ago when you were digging in your backyard. I said, but as you're beginning to understand, spinal dysfunction might have actually started back when you were a little boy, a little kid.
Sure.
You with me? So I'm again going to bring up kids, right? I'm not pushing them at this point to say, come in with your kids. I'm just beginning to, as you said, frame it. So they're beginning to hear it on day 1, day 2, and then they start seeing kids around in the office, and they see kids going down on the table without a problem, that they're running around. You got a family coming in, and the kids are fighting to get on the table first. They see it doesn't hurt. So then 3, 4 weeks, 6 weeks into it, when we're doing our reevaluation on you, I'll say, Phil, you happy with care? Yes. Doing so much better? Yes. You're committed to care? Yes. You've already, I have you scheduled for the next year of care. I said, what I want to do now is open the door for your family to come in, because the only reason you're here today is because subluxations probably had their origins earlier on. And so I take away the barriers. I'll let the whole family come in for $50, whatever it is. I'll encourage the family to get their spines checked.
The other clues or any conversational things that are occurring in your visit to visit, table talk that people bring to your attention, or what are some of the things that you've heard that have prompted you to introduce the conversation?
Great question, Phil. I don't have my nature. I don't pre-prescribe my conversation after day 1 and day 2. Day 1, I know, it's finding out time, developing rapport, finding why they're here, starting the educational process. Day 2 is, what's it going to take to offer corrective care? What's it going to cost? What the visit's going to take? Sure. We'll talk a little bit about kids. But I don't pre-program day 3, day 4, day 5 what I say. So I allow things to happen organically. But every time, particularly during the initial part of care, it's very driven to what I'm seeing with the spine. So when you come on the table and I'm adjusting you, you cleared out great today. Okay. I'm seeing your body adapting better. And I'll be clear with it. Your legs became even. I'm seeing better respiration. Your body's more at ease. The legs are coming down the leg relaxer bar. It's so much easier to adjust you. I am putting one force in and I see two things beginning to happen. I mean, I'm giving loads. We're staying totally spine focused. Once we're past day 2, I don't bring up a person's symptomatology unless the patient mentions it to me.
Yeah.
So if you came in with headaches, I don't ask you how your headache's doing. I'm going to tell you how your spine is doing, because that's my whole drive. Now, patients would tell me, oh my God, my headaches went away. I said, thank your body. It's amazing what your body can do when there's less nerve interference. It's amazing the healing capability of the body. You with me? Okay.
Sure.
Now, if in the course of time, they're talking about their kids in any way, let's say the kid plays football. Oh, my kid had a wicked injury. I said, do you think they might have subluxated themselves there? Oh, yeah. Said, let's make a time to check them. So it's not like I'm going to say, do you think you should check them? I said, let's make a time to check them. I'd be very directive. At this point, you've developed a relationship with them. If they're talking about any health issues that their kids have got, and they say, oh my goodness, we've tried everything. And I said, do you ever think that maybe the nervous system might have some pressure on there? Oh yeah. And so I'll encourage them again there. But if the conversation hasn't happened during the table talk times, then in the re-exam, I will bring up the issue, particularly 3 weeks into care, 4 weeks into care. Now, I'll be honest with you. I have all of my patients during the first couple of weeks of care come to a self-care visit.
Oh, okay.
Some people call it a workshop. Some people call it a special report. I call it a self-care visit. We go over self-care. Well, in that self-care, we're talking about how they can take care of their spine, but I want them to understand the spine, the nervous system, biomechanics, the curves of the spine. I want them to understand subluxation, cause of subluxation, and I'll send it home about how subluxation start at birth, and I will tell them after the cause of subluxation that said, we expect you to bring your kids in. I have no trouble saying I have trouble understanding how any intelligent human being can understand what I've just said and come in and get chiropractic care and leave the kids home to rot.
No, that's awesome. I mean, I really, I'm glad you shared that, just because it sounds to me, correct me if I'm wrong, that you're really waiting for that opportunity to have really intentional instruction. Because I know in my office, when people even start asking me like, well, how do these subluxations occur? How did this happen? I'll say, well, sometimes it's repetitive. Sometimes it's like a catastrophic accident or something like that. But it could be something as simple as like a birth trauma. Like you said, I have used that same sort of strategy and analogy.
Stop. Birth trauma is not simple. Birth trauma is intense. Okay? Realize medical textbooks will say that it's not uncommon for an obstetrician to use 90 to 120 pounds of pull force pressure on the cervical spine.
Amen,
90
brother.
to 120. So you take a light woman who weighs 100 pounds, that's enough force to lift them up off the chair. And you're doing this to a child that's never stood against the weight of gravity. Can't even hold up their head yet. I said, don't tell me. Relatively speaking, okay, you compare any adult trauma relative to the size and weight of a child, birth trauma is worse than any trauma from a whiplash accident.
Okay? I've seen it firsthand.
It's not a simple thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
don't vacuum extraction
tool, but you minimize birth experience. Okay?
I didn't mean to do that. I apologize.
My answer is, Phil. I said, I know you're going to think that it was a fall down a flight of stairs in that motor vehicle accident, but the real reason you're here today is because you didn't get checked when you were a little kid. I said the worst trauma the spine goes through is what happens at the birth process. I said that does more trauma to the upper cervical spine and to the neurology, to the cranium, than anything that happens in our adult time.
As the twig is bent, right, the tree grows, right? That's
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I saw it firsthand with my own daughter, and I'm like, man, I need to make sure I get her atlas checked as soon as possible. And I still thank God for my friend Stacy Adams, who was a pediatric chiropractor, had the training. She helped us out when Abby was first born. So never forget that memory.
So that's a huge thing to talk about, though. You can't adjust babies the way you adjust an adult.
Sure.
You need to develop your technique and your skill to be able to do that. If you're doing something to an infant or a baby that hurts them, or they don't like, or they start crying, that parent is never going to bring that child back to you.
Sure.
Okay? So you want to make sure that you develop your skills and being able to take care of children. Okay. Plus, the more confidence that you have at being able to appropriately adjust and clear out the spine, the more confidence you exude from your body, the more the people are going to trust you taking care of their kids.
As my man Dan Bronstein always says, man, you got to make sure you have a pediatric trained chiropractor. So tell us a little bit about the ICPA and the training and that kind of stuff, some of the stuff that you've taught. I'd love people to learn more about, how they find that or what they could do to learn more about that. We even have some pediatric trained chiropractors speaking at our fall conference. Our own Dr. Ann Lundquist, she's got some tremendous information too to offer at the fall conference. So share with us a little bit about that.
100%. So the ICPA, the International Chiropractic Pediatric Association, had its origins, oh my God, maybe about 35 years ago. Dr. Larry Webster, the granddaddy of pediatric chiropractic, the developer of the Webster technique, started the ICPA. And after about 7-8 years, Dr. Jeannie Ohm took over the organization. And Jeannie passed in 2019. And since then, her son, Dr. Justin Ohm, has taken over the organization. As an organization, it has nearly 8,000 paid members. It's one of the largest member organizations in the world. Chiropractic from literally every country, every college, every focus and practice, every type of practice, every technique, all under the umbrella of family care within a wellness salutogenic model. The ICPA basically has 4 branches. The first one, and what most people know about, is the training. There is a certification program that the ICPA offers. It's over 200 hours in pediatric care. Through that, you also get Webster certification. You can get perinatal certification. But the certification happens after about it's about a 1.5 to 2-year program, developing your skills in tech. It obviously teaches technique, it teaches communications, it teaches there's a class on nutrition, there's immunology, there's a class on perinatal care. That's the certification. And then there's further training for the diplomat, which is another 200 hours. So the whole program is over 400 hours. And we're looking at creating a master's program as well. So that's level 1. The second part of the ICPA is public education. The ICPA puts out lots and lots of information for the public. It has an award-winning magazine that they make available to members, or people can get it and utilize it within their practices. Offers lots of patient education materials through for membership that's available. The third branch of ICPA is research. Our research director, Dr. Joel Alcantara, publishes more papers on a wellness model of the benefits of chiropractic care on a wellness basis, and pediatric care and perinatal care, than all the colleges combined. So we have a research division, and the last part is membership. And the membership is extraordinary. I forget, maybe $250, $300 a year. Between the referral directory, when I was in practice, I would get at least 2-3 referrals a month from the referral directory, patient education materials for your practice, support a Facebook group, podcasts, the whole thing. So that's the ICPA.
That's awesome.
Develop your training. You can take any class, and if you feel deficient in pediatric care, you can take a pediatric class.
That's awesome.
The classes that people can do. People want information, to go to ICPA4kids.com.
That's awesome. And if you haven't interacted with Peter much yet, Peter is the Executive Vice President of Institutional Advancement. I think I got that correct, at Life West Chiropractic College now. I'm an adjunct professor at the college. I highly encourage you to come out to the events, come to the wave. I think the discount is over for the $69 discount. Was an awesome opportunity. If you weren't at the event, you probably missed out on that, but I'm sure that there'll be some other offers coming up, and just the opportunity to interact with the college, I think is awesome. So thanks so much for being on here. So
what I'll do is, anybody that's listening to this podcast, if over the next day or two you email me, I'll give it to you for $99.
How do we email you or get in touch with you, Peter?
Okay. So lifewest.edu is the website. You can find me on there. But if you go P Kevorkian, letter P is in Paul, Kevorkian, KEV is in Victor, ORKIAN, at lifewest.edu.
All right. Well, hang with us here for just a minute. We're about to give away some money. So this is what everybody's been waiting for. Once again, I want to remind all of you guys to consider joining us for the fall conference in Palm Springs coming up in October. Peter's going to be there. LifeWest's going to be there. We're going to have a booth. If you are interested in the PI stuff in September, that's coming up the first week of September. Make sure that you join us for that as well. If you haven't taken the opportunity right now to like and subscribe our YouTube live sessions, please do that for us. That can be so helpful. We really need that to occur. We're looking for people to like and subscribe our show, share it with your friends, tell them that they can win money. You know, today's going to be $400. If we don't have any winners, we'll be $500. I can see there's more people logging on now, so somebody must be contacting their friends to tell them to get on. That's how it always works, Peter. That's they come on right at the end.
I love it. I love it.
But this is awesome. We've been having a lot of fun with this. Looking forward to seeing you at the fall conference and around campus. I'm going to set a timer, you guys, on my phone. I haven't figured out how to do a digital timer yet on the screen, but you should hear the timer go off when Tiffany picks somebody. All right, here's our first person for $400. You've got 30 seconds starting now. Michael Spearman. So if Michael Spearman is on the call with us, you should be able to hear my timer go off. Michael, you got to respond in the chat that you're here, and then we'll get you your $400. Well, either way, you know, Michael's a winner today. He just wasn't here to collect his prize, apparently. We've got 6 seconds to go. Hopefully you'll hear the timer here in just a second. That way we can move on to pick our – there it was. There's our timer. We got to have a little longer timer. But, Michael, hopefully your friends will let you know to join us next time, or somebody contact Michael. Our next name is Mike Nathy. Mike, you've got 30 seconds to respond in the chat. You know, this is one of the things, this has been, you know, something in the making. And so I'm really grateful for all of the support of the board. Again, you know, if you haven't joined us at any of our events, highly encourage you. If you aren't aware of our political action work, highly recommend that you look into that. We've got 4 seconds for Mike. And all right, there's the timer for Mike. Sorry. All right, Tiffany, one more spin. Tiffany's like our Vanna White. She basically spins the wheel for us and turns the letters. Oh, yeah, a number of people on the stream is going up. Here's our third person. If we don't have a winner right here, it's going to roll over. Luan Martin, you have 30 seconds. Like I was saying, just briefly, you know, if you're not familiar with all the political action work we do, in addition to defending things like your scope of practice, reach out to me. Love to have you guys support from a political action perspective. It makes events like I'm at today possible, to meet with the Speaker of the Assembly. So highly encourage you to become a contributor to our political action fund. All right, so we've got 3 seconds, 2, 1. All right, Luan, there's the timer. So thank you so much, everybody, for being on with us. Join us next week, same time. Thanks again, Peter. Really appreciate you being on the stream with us. And next week, $500. So start spreading the word to the students. They can win $500. I know the students could win $500. They can lose $500.